And we are live on our 17th edition of SEC Tavern Talk. And I've titled this episode I can't even say it. Wait a minute. Did he just say that? Named after our good
Wade.
As in Wade, W-A-D-E. Named after our good friend Will Wade, who has been getting in a little bit of trouble recently. But first of all, let's go to our new friend. What's this guy's name? Is it Ashton? Is that your name?
I don't know. It's something like that. Don't call it a comeback.
Oh yeah,
I've been here in the shadows for forever. Just lurking, waiting for my moment to reclaim my title as the host of the SEC Reformed Tavern Talk. We really need a shorter name.
We do. You just made it longer.
Reformed SEC Tavern Talk.
It's just Tavern Talk. Or SEC Tavern Talk.
Yeah. SEC Tavern Talk's not that long, maybe.
No.
Is Tavern Talk like trademarked?
But just the tavern.
The Tavern. I don't know. I like that too.
Anyway,
I'm back.
He's back.
What's up, folks?
He's talking about reclaiming the host of the show, and I didn't even let him introduce any this time.
Oh, I have no idea what's going on. I'm not going to do it this week.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to gradually usurp your authority.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I like the dual threat we have going on.
There you go.
You like the football reference?
Like a 2-quarterback system.
Yeah, it's a 2-quarterback system. There you go. Anyway, as the same with last week, we do not have an agenda today because that it's just more fun that way. And basketball is fun to watch, and we're not all experts except for Sam.
Hey JB.
Yeah, what's up, Rob?
I like to think of you and Ashton as dual threats.
Yeah.
It's a little reference to Ashton's comment about dual threat quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, he doesn't like dual threat quarterbacks. Yeah, exactly.
Well, LSU has not been successful with a dual threat quarterback at all, right? Unless you go back to do what?
I said it to be dual threat. They've only been runners. They haven't been throwers. They haven't been dual threats. They've been like solo threats.
That's fine, right? That works in a Lamar Jackson system. But we don't run a Lamar Jackson system. We need somebody to throw the ball to the receivers so they can run. And for some reason, LSU is heck bent on getting a running back to play quarterback. And it's the most frustrating thing I've ever seen.
Wasn't that good so far?
Yeah.
You say that.
For us. What's that good for us so far?
Good for the Bama fans.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so we had an interesting week in the SEC. I want to just start off with some scores because we'll get into the juicy stuff later. Arkansas is making a comeback. Speaking of comebacks, Mr. Comeback Kid over here.
Deuces.
Arkansas beats Ole Miss Saturday. Alabama loses a sad heartbreaker to LSU. Tennessee blows out Kentucky. Missouri handles South Carolina pretty good, 78-63. Auburn beats Mississippi State at home. Texas A&M beats Vandy at home. And Georgia comes out and beats the odds. And what was it, a 14-point underdog? And they beat Florida by 6. I was excited. Huh?
To the dismay of Rob. Rob was like shocked.
Yeah. Rob couldn't believe his eyes.
Yeah.
Hey, I did say, though, I said, y'all better watch out for Georgia. It's not going to be
You called it. You did.
I did.
You did.
I called it too. Y'all just wasn't there.
You weren't there, yeah. You should start picking the games just to see how you do.
No, I'm perfectly fine to lurk in the shadows, so I'm always right.
Do you fill out a bracket when it's bracket time? Do you fill out a bracket?
Usually, yeah. Yeah, and I pick based on schools that I think are historically good, right? Like Kansas and Kentucky rank really high, and everybody else is kind of, it doesn't matter, right? They're just kind of there.
When in doubt, pick the team with the blue jerseys.
There you go.
This one year I did a bracket in my pre-cal class. It's all probability is what it is. We were studying probability and possible outcomes. And this girl picked all the games based on her favorite color, and she won the whole class.
So. That's awesome.
Wow.
What was her favorite color?
Purple.
Yes. I'm gonna do that.
And I think Kansas State went to the Final Four that year. So.
Huh.
Nice.
Maybe that bodes well for LSU.
Yeah.
That's how I'm picking this year.
Maybe so. So then we fast forward to Tuesday.
Holy cow, that was one day?
That was one day, man.
Yeah.
A lot of basketball is played on Saturday.
That is unbelievable. This is so much more to keep up with than football.
Yeah, exactly. Football.
How do y'all do this?
Well,
like, hey, did you see the LSU Alabama game? What? I saw the LSU Florida game. Didn't know they played twice.
Yeah. Well, it's better than baseball, man. Like MLB.
Baseball makes sense.
They play 2 games in one day.
Yeah, exactly. MLB, they play like 6 games in a week, and
Major League Baseball is stupid.
And
in college, you have one middle of the week game and then a 3-game series. That's it.
Yeah, I like that lineup too. I mean, I like the midweek game.
At least it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But basketball makes sense. 2 games a week, man. Like you either play on.
I was scared that we had played a third, and I just had no clue.
No, it's just 2 games a week.
Just during the tournament.
SEC teams play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Okay.
Pretty consistently. Like I don't think they really deviate from that.
I am getting an education here on live YouTube.
Every once in a while, they'll throw a blue chip game on Sunday on CBS. Every once in a while, like Kentucky and Florida, or Kentucky and somebody else is good.
All right, so let's go through the Tuesday games. I apologize for usurping your authority prematurely.
It's all good. It's all good. I figured you'll do that. I figured you'll do that more often, so it's fine.
I won't have it that hard.
That's right. South Carolina puts it on Texas A&M, 71-54. Tennessee.
Take that, James.
Tennessee beats.
Punter didn't play.
The punter didn't play.
Rain Man.
Rain Man is the man. Oh, that's great. That's amazing.
Athlete of the year.
For real, man. He should play every sport. Track and field and baseball and women's gymnastics.
He could do like the Globetrotters and punt the ball.
Exactly.
That is amazing.
Anyway, Tennessee beats Mississippi State by the same score of 71-54, which I thought was funny. Auburn beats Alabama in a heartbreaker. I was really wanting Alabama to win, and I know Sam was too.
And I was too.
Yeah. I don't think any of us like Bruce Pearl.
Nope.
I don't like him. I don't really have an opinion of him. But that does of necessity mean that I don't like him.
He's a cheater too.
He's a cheater. He's a cheater.
Too.
He's a lot of.
Oh, let's not be too hard on the cheaters, right? That's
No. He's a different kind of cheater.
Yeah.
Special kind of cheater.
I mean, the NCAA gave him a show call. In other words, you have to show us calls for why you're hiring him.
Yeah, and Auburn probably should have just wiped the slate clean and let him go. But Auburn has not been good at basketball in like forever, so they're like, you know what, we're going to keep Bruce Pearl around and see what happens.
Yeah.
So, and Kentucky beats Ole Miss by 4. They came back in the second half the same way they did against Arkansas last week, which really, really made me unhappy. Wednesday. Huh?
Did Kermit throw his jacket? Is the question.
I didn't watch the end of the game.
He didn't throw his jacket.
He didn't?
No, he didn't throw his jacket. No. But he did against Tennessee.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
So then Wednesday we've got Arkansas beat the pants off of Vanderbilt, 84-48. Which I know it's Vanderbilt, but they've played teams close. They played us close in Bud Walton Arena, so I'm happy to go to Nashville and get a 40-point win.
Okay, so hold on just a minute.
Okay,
I'm trying to get a layout of the SEC, and right, you have Kentucky. They're the blue bloods. Tennessee is really good this year. Apparently LSU is super good this year. So you have the top tier, and then you have middle of the row teams like Ole Miss and those guys. Is Vandy the Vandy of college basketball?
Not always.
Not always. This year they are. Yeah, they haven't won a single SEC game.
No, that's fun because usually LSU is.
Not when they had Simmons, man.
Simmons was a showboater. I didn't care for him. Yeah, he was a showboater and a ball hog.
He's legit though.
He's a baller.
So is LeBron James, but I don't like him either.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
He is not the GOAT.
Ben is not a crybaby like LeBron is. So
I mean that's fair, but I don't think anybody is. You have to go to the world of soccer to find crybabies like that.
Hey, did y'all see the post or the comment I said about Arkansas has 17 sports and I will watch 16 of them if I have a chance? Yeah, the one that I won't watch is soccer.
Watching the ping pong tournament, huh?
Well, they don't have a soccer team, so
Arkansas does.
Women's they do. SEC soccer doesn't exist.
Hey, LSU has a real good women's soccer team.
Right, I'm talking about men. They don't have a
Arkansas's women's soccer team is freaking legit, man. I think they might have won the SEC this year. I wasn't really paying much attention, but I saw something about it.
Men's soccer because of the rule that you can't have more men's sports than women's sports.
Correct.
Okay. That's interesting.
Because
they have volleyball and gymnastics, like that.
Why not just make girls football and keep men's soccer?
But to me, I don't understand how there's more men's sports though. Like that's weird. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, there can't be. That's that trickles down into high school as well. You can't have more men's sports than women's sports. That's why you have. Because there's varieties, but with football, you only.
I am on the YouTubes.
Seems, but I'm gonna have to look at all the sports. But it seems like there's more women's sports in the SEC because you have swimming and diving.
You can have more women's sports. You just can't have more men's sports.
I guess so. What I'm saying is, I don't see why they can't have men's soccer because they have a lot more women's.
That's
sports.
Racist.
I'm not telling you why it is or how it is or if it's right. I'm just telling you the way it is. Sam can back me up on that.
You can't have more of either sex. You can't have more women or men. It's got to be the same.
Okay. I thought you could have more women, but I wouldn't. Anyway.
Well, that's less racist.
Yeah, it's sexist. Sexist, actually, not racism.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's discrimination based on
something. I'm not going to say anything about that.
I'll have to play about that.
Moving on. Where did Ashton go?
To YouTube.
I was just about to talk about his Tigers. Anyway, Mizzou beats the crap out of Georgia. I'm sorry, Rob, man. That's bad.
I got there once.
Oh, no. I mean, we went from shooting 60-something% the game before to shooting 25.5%.
It's called basketball.
It's called basketball. That's true. Yeah. And then LSU beats Florida in overtime. Yeah, that was a game,
Woo!
man. Yeah, there he is. I knew you'd come in. Did you? Okay, tell us about the last 5 minutes that you watched of that game, because you
All
came
right,
in.
y'all.
You came in and didn't catch. Yeah, you caught the end of it.
She does not. She wants to go in. Anyway. Sorry. Dog
She wants
stuff.
to go in, guys. She wants to go in.
Yeah.
We don't know
Anyway.
who she is, but she wants to go in.
It's the dog. Anyway. All right. So, Wednesday rolls around, and I go to church like a normal human being. And then I get back from church, and I am tired because I had to preach. And I'm like, man, scrolling through the channels, there's nothing to watch. And then I come to a basketball game, which I would usually pass over, but it said LSU. I was like, man, we're supposed to be good this year. So I clicked on it. And I was not disappointed, gentlemen. I was not disappointed. LSU, they done real good. They come up. I think we were down, and then they took the lead, gave the lead away, and then made a layup to send the game into overtime with 0.5 seconds left. It was awesome. Whoever that little dude is that did that has ice water in his veins. Anyway, we win the game in overtime because Florida's player does not have ice water in his veins, and he missed the layup at the end of it. So go Tigers.
Yeah, that was a good game. Was Tremont Waters back for that game?
Yes.
Yeah, if I know.
I couldn't remember.
He played against Bama.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Tennessee that they beat without Tremont Waters. Yeah, okay.
Which is really an accomplishment. Really,
it's a huge accomplishment.
They's a baller.
Better than Kentucky.
So anyway, so that's the scores for this week. Anyway, let's just move on to the bombshell that has happened this week. I'm gonna bring it up
first.
Well, hold on. I wanna like actually read what was said.
Yeah, but make sure you bleep it out.
Oh, it's a Christian group, man. So Will Wade, the coach of the LSU Tigers.
Go Tigers.
I think we all probably were assuming that some kind of weird thing was going on when LSU starts getting some of the best athletes in college basketball.
No,
y'all ever seen the movie Blue Chips with Shaquille O'Neal?
Yeah. He was
Shaq played at LSU.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so false. I'm saying false. LSU has a history of good players with Pistol Pete, Shaq. Ben Simmons came because it's a thing. They wanted to pipeline him through. Anyway, LSU is the school that good players wanted to go to because there are not a lot of good players, so they get a lot of screen time, which is why Ben Simmons came to LSU. Although, yes, the success this year was suspicious. I'll give you that one.
That's true. I always say, even though LSU's not the most storied SEC program, like a basketball program in the SEC, I would take 5 starters from LSU's history over any other school in the SEC. I would take Shaq. I'd take Pistol Pete. I'd take Chris Jackson, Ben Simmons. Who's that other dude? Anyway, I would take 5 guys from the LSU before I take anybody from any other school.
Go Tigers! So. But yeah, the success this year was a little suspicious. I'll grant you that. That's fair. Even we were a little like, what's going on? They changed the water.
Yeah,
waters.
Changed the waters. Yeah, there you go.
I was about to say, you beat me to that one,
Sam, still in your one-liners. So anyway,
yeah, that's my gig. Don't steal that.
let's find this conversation that was had. Will Wade's own words, as reported by Yahoo, which were captured by the FBI during a conversation with Dawkins, who is a Dawkins is a bad dude, right? Like he's like a in between kind of.
Yeah, he's a middleman.
Yeah, exactly. So he's talking to this guy. I don't know what his first name is. Last name's Dawkins. But anyway, in the summer of 2017, they catch this on this phone call. They've got it recorded. It says, "Dude, I went to him with an strong expletive offer about a month ago."
It seems excessive.
Yeah. Expletive strong, Wade said, seemingly venting to Dawkins about a third party who was involved in the recruitment of a current LSU freshman, Javonte Smart. The problem was, I know why he didn't take it now. It was expletive tilted toward the family a little bit. It was tilted toward taking care of the mom, taking care of the kid. Like it was tilted toward that. Now I know for a fact he didn't explain everything to the mom. I know now he didn't get enough of the piece of the pie in the deal. This follows with another tape. It says, "I can get you what you need, but it's got to work." Wade says that to Florida State, to a guy who was committed to Florida State instead of LSU. He said, "I can get you what you need." It's a lot of coded language there, but I think everybody knows what the heck he's talking about there.
Yeah, the weed.
The weed. That was Treadway, wasn't it? Anyway, so let's discuss this matter here. Wade has been suspended indefinitely as of today. It took a couple of days before they did anything, but so what do y'all think? Should he be fired? Should the SEC step in and say and impose some sanctions, or should they just let the NCAA do what the NCAA does?
Take it away, Ash.
All right. I was waiting for permission. All right. So here's what I think I ought to do. Just go on and give LSU the national championship because they're going to win it anyway. It was a dead-gum good offer. I mean, the kid's playing there, so apparently it was a good enough offer.
Yeah, that's true.
But from a practical standpoint, if we take a step back, it makes sense. I mean, you got to think a lot of these kids, their ticket out of generational poverty is athletics. And the only reason they play basketball, play baseball, play football is to get their mama a house, right? That's a lot of these kids. And the coaches are taking advantage of it. And, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, everybody does it, so it should be excused. I'm saying everybody does it, so implode the system. I want to see the FBI investigation that came out a few years ago actually mean something, so that this stuff doesn't happen. And I don't understand why the kids can't make money from their own name. He could, if he's a good enough ball player, really set his mama up, set his kids up, set himself up with autographs, jerseys, things like that. But no, the NCAA can't have anybody coming between them and profit margins. So, yeah, now we have a system where we pretend to be outraged at coaches who take advantage of the system. And yeah, the coach should be fired. He broke the rules, and I don't go for that. But also, everybody's breaking the rules, and I would like to see a consistent enforcement there.
True that. Sam, what do you got to say about that?
Number one, I don't see a situation where he's a coach. I think he's coached his last game at LSU. I don't see a situation where he continues to coach at LSU unless there's something else to the story. Have you read his statement? Because we'll wait for that statement today.
I haven't read his statement.
It basically said there's more to the story. This is what your rating's not in context, which I don't even know what that means. He said we gave him an expletive good offer, and I'm assuming that expletive starts with an F. So that's just my assumption. in my mind, that's what he's saying anyway.
Yeah.
As far as the system, the system's broken. It is. I think where it gets really, really hairy as far as the kids making money is when the schools are the ones that start providing the money. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As long as they can get shoe deals, and as long as like you said, sign autographs, as long as the money isn't coming from Auburn, isn't coming from LSU, isn't coming from Duke, isn't coming from Tennessee, I think it's okay. But once you enter that Pandora's box, it's going to basically become like a free agent market, really. Is what it's going to become. I don't think you can say. And with it being public and private institutions, it's going to be really hard to give the kids money unless you say, okay, every school gets X amount of dollars. So they can you can't let, like, okay, let's just use football for example. You can't let Texas and Alabama, have an unlimited resource and compete against Vanderbilt. And it's just there's no way it can work.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, Vanderbilt gives like almost zero money to their athletic department. So yeah, they're going to continue.
Dude, they're curing cancer. Okay, get off of them.
I mean, no, it's fine. No, it's great. I don't care. Yeah, but I'm saying like you cannot have them compete as far as paying players goes.
So I do have a question concerning that. Vandy gives almost no money to their athletic department, and yet their baseball team is better than all of you. So, I mean, not what's going on there?
Not Arkansas, nobody gives money.
When was the last College World Series Arkansas won?
When's the last time Vandy won a College World Series?
Sooner than Arkansas.
I don't think Vandy's ever won a College World Series.
They won it 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
They won when David Price was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did. Yeah. That's right.
The thing about baseball,
take that back.
Nobody gets full scholarships in baseball. So Vandy's on a level playing field. Everybody gets half scholarships, which is what Vandy gives anyway.
I mean, maybe not, but their facilities are on par with everybody else's, and they're better than everybody else.
So
I will say this though, I think the Will Wade deal is just the tip of the iceberg. They say iceberg is 80% underwater. I think we're seeing all we're seeing from Will Wade is just the beginning, and I think you're going to see a bunch of dominoes fall, and eventually one of these big name coaches, Calipari, or Bill Self at Kansas, or I don't think Krzyzewski's involved. Roy Williams. I don't really think Krzyzewski's involved in it. Boeheim, you're going to see one of these big, really, really big name coaches be involved in this, and then that's when you're really going to see some major change. Is when if Bill Self gets fired at Kansas,
right?
They've won 1,000 Big 12 titles in a row.
So
my immediate thought when all the FBI stuff came out about Louisville and I think Duke, my immediate thought was, oh man, I hope LSU isn't involved in this, so I can talk a lot of crap. But that was my motivation then. But this really was a fear, right? I was scared LSU was one of the teams that would come out. So, I wouldn't put it past any teams out there because right now I don't know how teams like LSU can consistently compete with teams like Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina. I don't know. Like, how do you brand yourself so that you get the coaching that they get? I mean, LSU's last coach didn't cut it. That's why we hired this one. And how do you brand yourself to get the players that they get? I mean,
so I'll answer that, but let me back up for a second to answer our first question. In that, about as far as players with money and all that, I agree. I think players should be able to profit off of themselves. I think that capitalism and the fact that you go to college to learn how to either run a business or how to self-sufficiently attain money after you graduate. That is the purpose of going to college.
Or you go to learn lesbian dance theory.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's not get on that. Wherever that came from. Wow.
What an LSU class.
So anyway,
it's not in Arkansas.
I actually don't know. I'm scared to look now. I don't know.
Anyway, people, they want to brand college as make you well-rounded. That's bullcrap. It's so you can get a job and learn how to make money. That is the main purpose, the biggest purpose of school. So if that's what we're wanting kids to do, why not let them profit out themselves? So I'm all for that.
Why not let Zion Williamson go ahead and sign a shoe deal with Nike?
I have no issue with that.
Yeah.
Because we care about his ankles.
No. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so what I'm saying though is that I agree. Schools nor coaches should profit off of a player. It should be them alone making their own money, signing their own deals.
Well, not them alone, right? Because they are selling tickets for the university, and like that money should go back to the school.
Some, yes, but not in the sense of like what I mean by the school shouldn't make money is not that they shouldn't profit at all. I should have worded that better. They shouldn't be selling things of the player and making money. If the player wants to profit off themselves and they get a percentage of that, I'm fine with that, or however you want to figure that out.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be selling things and trying to profit off of them. Like, say, Duke went and like sold a jersey of Zion and they made money off of it. That wouldn't be right.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So
I agree.
Okay. And then you get to we were around to something else. What was your question just then?
My comment earlier?
What we were just on before I got off on that.
He said
well, I think that cheating is the natural avenue that people are going to take to try and build their teams into big market teams.
So here's what I was going to say to that. So basically, you've got like teams like LSU. Will Wade is. I'd never heard of the guy before he came to LSU. I'm just going to call it what it is. I don't think I'd ever heard the name.
I hadn't either.
Right. So point being is that guys who have established themselves, not saying any of them have not cheated, not saying that at all, but guys like Coach Cal, at least for the time being, Coach Cal, Coach K, I really don't think he's involved, but any of these coaches that have been around for a long time, they're not going to be the first ones they look at. They're going to be the first ones they look at. Obviously, it's messed up. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying LSU coming out of nowhere. Shoot, Tom Crean at Georgia has got a class for next year that's number 12. I'm sure they're going to be looking at him next year.
Right.
I mean,
sure.
It's natural because you came out of nowhere, so to speak.
Sure.
And of course, that doesn't mean we're going to be good next year. I'm just using that as an example, saying that, these out of nowhere, or I shouldn't say out of nowhere, but
I don't know. If you're cheating, you better be good. Otherwise, it's just cheating for the sake of cheating.
Yeah, but that doesn't even mean you're necessarily cheating. But that would be the first, hey, that's a very quick turnaround. Maybe we should investigate them.
Right.
Or maybe we should just investigate everyone.
Well, the point that I was making is I wouldn't have ever expected LSU to be on the front page about this, paying players. I could maybe have seen it in football during the Les Miles area. He got in some trouble at Oklahoma State for that kind of thing. But I could never have pictured LSU being involved in something like this. And then there it was, right as soon as I got excited about college basketball. It was 20 minutes, I think. It lasted 20 minutes. But my point is, don't be surprised to see any school names. Because I was floored. Like, my gosh. That was fun.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, JB likes to, because of his hatred for my Wildcats, he likes to rip on Cal and say that he's without a doubt cheating. And I'm not saying that he's not, but
track record.
he pulls the previous schools that he's been at as proof, and so we'll see if it comes out or not.
But everywhere he's been has been put on probation when he left.
Exactly.
Everywhere he's been,
except Kentucky.
That is the Pete Carroll effect.
He hasn't left Kentucky. He hasn't left Kentucky yet. Yeah. Wait till he. Here's what I say about Cal, and I'm not. I didn't coin this phrase. I saw it on TV. He's the king of the gray area, is what he is. Like that, he cheats just enough to get by and not to draw attention to himself, and he does things that people aren't really looking at, like ACT scores, like yeah, he does have those.
That killed Hugh Freeze. I mean,
yeah.
What's that?
That killed Hugh Freeze.
No, what did?
I think Hooker's killed Hugh Freeze.
Hooker's killed Hugh Freeze. That's true. That's what did it over. Which I thought that was kind of funny. Like the guy gets caught like paying players and cheating at his job, paying players to get these top 5 recruiting classes, and they don't do anything to him until all of a sudden, oh wait, you're calling hookers? We're gonna fire you now. Like, I just think that's funny, right? Like,
I mean, at least they draw the line somewhere. They have standards. It's just Ole Miss standards.
He was calling hookers for players though, right?
Yeah, sure,
hey,
sure. For
can
players,
can we all agree that Ole Miss needs to be investigated after this recruiting class?
Right. Like they snagged people from Georgia and Alabama, and like, what the heck, dude?
I'm okay with Ole Miss being under constant investigation, just forever.
I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
Go ahead and investigate him in basketball too, because I hate him in basketball.
Going back to what you were saying, Ashton, though, or no, one of y'all was talking about how they're not going to go after people. No, it was Rob that said they're not going to go after people like, Roy Williams.
I said they wouldn't start with them.
Yeah, they're not going to start.
I didn't say they wouldn't go after him. I just said it's not going to be the first one they look at, and I'm not saying that's right either.
Right.
I'm just saying it's natural to think that way.
It's like a Ponzi. It's like a Ponzi scheme. You don't start with the guy that started the Ponzi scheme. You start at the bottom of the pyramid and work your way up to the top.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true. And that's a good example. I mean, you look at Ole Miss. I mean, there's never been a dynasty bigger than Alabama. I'm gonna throw that out there. Like it's Alabama. It's unprecedented.
Okay.
Like it's unprecedented. Like what Nick Saban has done at Alabama. So like as far as college football goes,
maybe
I
don't know. I think that's debatable, but okay.
But anyway, like it's
definitely top 3 all time. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So like they're not looking at that because Alabama historically has been good at football. I mean, they've had 2 of the best coaches in college football. I mean, prior to Nick Saban, they had probably the best coach in college football between him and probably Tom Osborne. And
okay, but anyway. by that, can we call John Wooden a cheater? Can we look into his? Because look at UCLA, except for the years that he was there. Like,
8 titles in 10 years.
Yeah. And then
since
before
then,
that, what were they? And after that, they've won one?
Well, if that's our litmus test, then Nick Saban's a cheater too, because LSU was abysmal before he got there.
I'm just making a point. Like there's a lot of sides to it. Is all I'm saying.
Although I will give it to him, Nick Saban can turn around a program, and he's done it twice. And LSU was well on their way to being a powerhouse, and then he decided he wanted to try the NFL.
Miami
Dolphins.
Yeah. He's not an NFL coach.
No. He I don't know, man. If they would have got, who was it that was Drew Brees. Drew Brees. He wanted to get Drew Brees.
Drew Brees didn't want to play for him.
They had him, and Drew Brees failed the physical.
He failed a physical?
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason. The doctor said questions about his shoulder of all things.
Yeah.
And so when he failed the physical, it voided the trade.
And Ashton has made it very clear that that's the GOAT of the NFL in his mind. So
he is.
If Nick Saban had gotten Ashton's GOAT, he might not be at Alabama.
Boy, yeah.
I love how you said Ashton's GOAT.
Time out.
Okay.
So you're saying Drew Brees is better than Tom Brady?
Easily.
No.
Oh, God.
Are we doing this? Are we doing this?
No, let's not do this. Let's not do this.
Not on this.
Okay,
show,
well, what's your argument, man? What's your argument that Tom Brady is better?
This show's gonna go 2 hours.
What's the argument that Jordan's better than LeBron? What's the argument?
The argument that Jordan is better than LeBron. So I would say the ability to make players around him better, the ability to come through in big situations, and a will and a fire to win. Other than that, LeBron and Michael Jordan look very, very similar.
I agree. And all of those things are the reasons that Brady is better than Brees. All those things.
Right. It's amazing how Brady held it together, prevented the Falcons from scoring after they had scored 28 in that Super Bowl. Pretty awesome.
How many's he got, dude?
How many has he got?
Yeah. How many's he got? How many Brees he got?
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, he says sarcastically. So, do you really want to go through the Super Bowls? I mean, we could go to the Tuck Rule. We could go to
okay. Before we get too far
Brady
down
never having a bad defense.
What I want to get at is that I don't see how you can say undeniably better. I see your arguments, Ashton, but you always say it undeniably. He's the GOAT over Brady. I'm like,
over Brady.
You can't say there's no argument for Brady.
There is no argument for Brady.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I can't.
By the way,
the GOAT is either Dan Marino, Drew Brees, or Peyton Manning. Brady is not the GOAT.
I got to throw this out there. Everyone,
I love Peyton Manning.
Ashton is a Saints fan, so just keep going.
Yes.
Okay. Does it take a Saints fan to point out that Drew Brees has more yards than anybody else in NFL history?
They throw it. He throws it every down. He throws
he throws every down. He throws every down. So the defense is always in a nickel or a dime, right? In heavy coverage, and he has a higher completion percentage than anybody else in NFL history.
It's like saying Steph Curry's the greatest three-point shooter of all time. That's all Steph Curry shoots is threes.
Well, what's his percentage?
I don't know what his percentage is.
Well, Drew Brees is more likely to complete a pass when he throws a football than anybody else in NFL history.
Just like he did last year when he threw a pick six in overtime, or threw a pick in overtime.
Okay. There's the one game. There's a bad game. Yeah. There's a bad throw. Awesome.
JB, why did you do
after the ref blew the game?
You said you started it.
I did say that. Yeah, I did. Well, no, I was just talking. Okay. Can we?
But you said his GOAT. You said his GOAT.
I said Nick Saban could have been a better.
Who has more 5,000-yard seasons than the entire rest of the NFL combined?
I guess Drew Brees. That's what I'm gonna guess.
Who has more 4,000-yard seasons than anybody else in the NFL?
I'm gonna guess Drew Brees.
It's Drew Brees.
Who's his best running back he's ever had? Reggie Bush?
Alvin Kamara.
Drew Brees is that fourth best quarterback of all time. The fourth best, not the first best. The fourth best. He's not better than Peyton Manning. He's not better than Dan Marino, like you said, and he's not better than Brady.
He's better than Brady. I'll give you Marino and I'll give you Manning, but he's not. He is better than Brady. Brady is a product of Belichick.
Do you think the only reason Brady's won is because of Belichick?
No, I think Brady's a top 5 quarterback also. But he is a product of Belichick. If you put Brees in that situation, he has easily as many rings as Brady.
So is Brees a product of Sean Payton?
Sort of, but that's also partly because Sean Payton can't field a defense to save his life.
Yeah, man, I'll give you that. Sean Payton is a really great offensive mind. He really is.
Right, but defensively, he can't coach his way out of a paper sack. It seems.
And Belichick is a defensive guy. But
right.
Where Belichick is better, I guess, is he figured out, hey, I don't know nothing about offense. Let's go find somebody that does.
Yeah, I agree there. And he keeps Brady in positions where Brady doesn't have to throw the ball on every down until like the playoffs, and then it's the last quarter and a half. Brady goes superstar mode, and it's great, right? Brady's a great quarterback. I just don't think he's the GOAT.
What I'm going to say is there's never in football there's never been a more clutch player than Tom Brady.
I'll give you that.
That's where I'm saying the best to me. What makes a guy the GOAT? Big time players make big time plays in big time games, and there's never been anybody that does that more than Tom Brady or Michael Jordan. That's why they're the GOAT to me.
And
that's what it means to be the GOAT.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go back to the conversation we had several weeks ago with Briggins and J.R. Phillips. Like LeBron probably is a better all-around player than Michael Jordan. Like he's more naturally gifted to play basketball. But Jordan has that it factor that he's clutch, and he's the guy that you want with the ball when the game's on the line, and he has a killer instinct, and he's win. Like, and that's what I think about Tom Brady as well. I mean, he's got an intangible quality about him that's going to win you a ball game. Whether he's the best or not, like he may not be the most talented quarterback that's ever played the game, but greatness, how you measure greatness, Tom Brady meets that requirement there.
Okay, but let's not pretend that Breeze is just a terrible quarterback in the clutch, right? He's not a Tony Romo. Yeah. Breeze has more game-winning drives. Breeze actually has more game-winning drives than anybody else.
Just not in the Super Bowl.
Right, not in the Super Bowl, because usually his defense can't get him there. Right, y'all remember when the Saints went to Seattle and the defense decided that Marshawn Lynch was too scary to tackle? I mean, how do you win that game?
Yeah.
Score every time he touches the ball. That's all you can do.
Also, the Seahawks are going to score every time they touch the ball, and there's not a lot you can do when your defense is the worst in NFL history, right? Like that was an embarrassing year.
Okay, so what I got from that is Tom Brady's still the GOAT except to everybody except for Ashton, and it's okay. It's okay. We can have differing opinions. It's fine.
I respect your right to be wrong.
What's fine? Yeah, it's fine.
You're right to be wrong.
Yeah, you're right to be wrong. It's all good, man. I enjoy the debate, but this is not an NFL podcast. This is a college podcast for the most part.
Let's bring it back to Will Wade. Okay.
Then don't bring up the NFL. This isn't my fault.
Hey, I didn't bring up the NFL. You brought up the NFL.
You brought it up.
You brought it up, dude. You said that Nick Saban was not good in the NFL.
I feel like I'm in my ninth grade biology class.
Actually,
she called me fat.
That was Rob that said that. Rob said that. Okay, so Rob said that Nick Saban was not good in the NFL, and I said the only reason he wasn't good in the NFL is because he didn't get Drew Brees, and that's how it happened. So we're moving on back to college basketball. I brought up Nick Saban because Hugh Freeze came out of nowhere and beats Alabama 2 years in a row. For what? So they can lose 5 games in the season and go to the butt crack bowl. I mean, like, what did they do besides beat Alabama 2 years in a row? So anyway, and get 5.
I mean, there was also the thing with the hookers.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying, like, that's why he got investigated was because he came out of nowhere and got this top 5 recruiting class at Ole Miss, which is unheard of. They got the lesser Manning at Ole Miss, and that's about all what they can do.
Hey, you pay your respect to the lesser Manning.
He was a stud in college.
He was. I would argue that he was actually better in college than Peyton was because he didn't have the receivers that Peyton had.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to look at that.
Yeah,
that's a fun thought.
Peyton had a legit receiving core, and Eli didn't have squat at Ole Miss. But anyway, moving on. That was the point. Will Wade's coming down first, and then they're coming down. Let's just move on to our picks for this coming week because we have gone on
LSU is first in something.
Super duper rabbit trail there.
I do have a question though.
I take no responsibility for that.
What's your question?
My question is this: with the demand that we have for coaches win and win in a hurry, have we created as fans? Have we created this culture of cheating? Because in
the SEC, yes.
I'm talking. No, this is across the scale.
Well, I don't think that there's any fan bases as rabid as the SEC outside of the SEC.
The football, yes, I agree with you. Basketball, I think that's not the case because everybody plays basketball because basketball's indoors and up north, even when it's 12 degrees.
That's fair.
Yeah. So like in Indiana, if you don't win, you get fired. That's where Tom Crane was. It was Indiana, he got fired. If you go to Kansas and you don't win, you get fired. If you go to North Carolina and you don't win, you get fired. If you go to UConn and you don't win, you get fired. So I mean,
Kentucky.
Yeah. So I think it's universal in basketball. So have we as fans created this culture of you better win and win in a hurry? And because of that, have we created this? All right, we've got to win now. So what can we do to get these kids here? That's my question.
I would say yeah. And I think that's part of trying to compete with the big market teams, right? How do I turn my team into Kentucky overnight?
Yeah.
I mean,
the short answer is you don't, but
yeah, if you have some shots in the arm and some hookers apparently, then maybe you can.
And some expletive great deals.
And some expletive great deals. But yeah, I think that to a large degree, yeah. I don't know about y'all, but if you've ever talked to a booster for any school, they're crazy, right? They're crazy. They're like, no, we need success absolutely yesterday. And if it's not absolutely yesterday, then you have failed as a human being, and further as a coach. And
have you heard the Nick Saban story about the boosters?
Yeah.
Like, okay, number one, the boosters at Alabama are crazy. Number one, just like they are everywhere else, except times 10. Because Alabama fans have this mentality. I don't know if you'll know this or not, but we're kind of arrogant, and we think we should win it every single year.
Really?
Alabama fans?
Every single year. Even though we went 3-8 last year, we're gonna win the West, and we're gonna go.
That sounds like Auburn.
So Saban
sounds like
in.
Tennessee.
I've got a high school classmate of mine who was a GA on that first staff that Saban had. Two stories. This is gonna be really brief. Number one, the first story is in the film room. So he turns the film on. Saban turns the film on. The whole staff's sitting there. He pauses the film after about 10 minutes and says, "Where in the expletive did Shula get these kids?" That's the first thing he said. And the second story is very first practice. He blows a whistle and says, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm a booster. Get out of my practice." "Who are you?" "Booster. Get out of my practice." "Who are you?" He kicks them all out of practice. Kicked every one of them out of practice and said, "Unless you got a media pass, you are not allowed in my practice."
Oh man,
that is as much as I dislike Nick Saban, you got to respect that.
Yeah, because he knew this battle he was fighting and taking that job.
Yeah.
If you want to win, if you want to win, you better do what I want you to do, how I want you to do it, when I want you to do it.
I mean, yeah, but he was probably kind of prepared for that coming from LSU.
Yeah.
Right, because we've got some pretty wild expectations too, right? We had that earthquake game in 1988, so we're gonna win the West this year, and we're gonna win the national championship this year, right? 1988 was our predictor. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to segue, but
no, yeah. I could definitely see that, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. I think the original sin is what created our propensity to want to cheat to win.
Hashtag Jesus Juke.
Hashtag Jesus Juke. Yeah. Sinner's going to sin, right? I mean, you could say that the fans put this pressure on us and all this. Yeah, we probably do because, like I said, sinners going to sin. Fans are going to be fanatical because that's where the term fan came from.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're going to do crazy things and we're going to put crazy pressure on these coaches. But if they're like, you can stand up and say, look, no, I'm going to do things the right way, and if I get fired, I get fired. But no, they don't. They give in to the peer pressure is what it is. You're taught about that when you're like 12 years old, to not give in to peer pressure. But, the coaches do, and they buckle and they say, you know what, I'm going to pay these guys, even though I'm not supposed to, and I could get fired if I do, but I'm doing it anyway. It's our propensity to want to do the wrong thing to get a shortcut to an end goal that we want.
Well, another facet of this though is if I don't win next year, the boosters are going to fire me anyway. Right. They're going to get me fired anyway, so I may as well take this chance where there's at least a chance that I don't get fired. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I mean, what's the repercussions that come against Hugh Freeze really? Really, what is his penalty? Like,
you can't coach in Tuscaloosa.
Okay, so there's a plus. What's the others? Right? He didn't have any severe ramifications besides being fired, which he was gonna do if he lost anyway.
Yeah.
So there's on top of all of this, we've almost incentivized cheating because there's no penalty for the coach himself besides a slap on the wrist.
Well, I think the difference is I don't know how all contracts are, but a lot of them have a clause in them that's like a character clause. Like Bobby Petrino got fired and he didn't get paid a dime because they had a character
fired with cause.
Yeah, he had a character clause in there. If he does anything that tarnishes his image as a football coach and I don't know. It has something to do with being his character or whatever. I don't know how exactly it reads, but on a technicality, they fired him and did not have to pay him a single dime. But if he got fired because he wasn't winning enough, you know what? He'd be a freaking multi-millionaire from the University of Arkansas and wouldn't have to coach again for the rest of his life. But instead, he had to go to Western Kentucky and then to Louisville and then turn that program into the ground again. And get fired from there. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But like one way you're going to get fired and you're going to have a huge buyout if you lose. But if you get fired because you're a horrible person, you could probably not get any money. So,
well, I mean, you say that, but Bobby Petrino ain't poor. I mean, coming off of the Louisville contract, he's pretty stat.
Not now,
but
yeah.
Is it just about the money though? Look at Rick Pitino. He's got plenty of money, but no one wants to hire him because of how he was let go from Louisville. He's having a hard time finding a job. So
as he should be.
What I'm saying is, if all you're worried about is the money, sure, yeah, no drawbacks. But because he's already got plenty from coaching at Kentucky, the NBA, and then back at Louisville, which I can't stand his guts. He went to the one school in the country you don't go to after coaching at Kentucky. But anyway, I'm not bitter. My dad only had us do his drills as a kid, and then he goes and pulls that crap. But I'm not bitter. But with that said,
I'm glad you're not bitter. I'd hate to see that.
No. But I mean, as a coach like him, who that's, take a coach like him or Roy Williams or Coach K. I'm not saying he's involved in this, but I'm just using an example as a coach that, like, a career life coach that's what he does is coach basketball, and you can't coach anywhere else. That's a little shot you're taking there. You're
right.
And so I'm saying there's more to lose than just money unless that's all you're looking for.
Well, I mean, I get that, but I mean, Bobby Petrino had similar things happen to him, and he got hired.
Right. I'm not saying it can't happen, but that's the risk you run. So you were saying there's no risk. That's where I disagree with you. But it's like
that's fair.
Do you want to play the risk game and take a chance, or do you want to,
right?
Just
and I don't mean to say that there's no risk whatsoever. I'm just saying that it's a much less risk than we assume it is.
I think a lot of it depends on the severity of it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The political drawback or the whatever drawback, like, say you had somebody who, there was sexual abuse going on. For the coach had something to do with sexual abuse. Well, then that's not going to look good on a program if you hire them.
Right, and even Penn State went through that, and they vacated the wins of that coaching staff altogether, and they're rebuilding, right?
Right.
And so you do see a scorched earth policy at least there, but I don't see that really anywhere else, right? There's no other facet of coaching that's taken seriously. There's I just don't see it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's anything more really than a slap on the wrist and a hit to your reputation that can be issued to these coaches.
Isn't that incredibly sad, though?
It is incredibly sad. I'm not saying it's a good thing. This is an observation, not a.
I'm with you. I just wanted to say that because
it's super sad.
Yeah, and that's why you have the character clauses, right? That's the school absolving themselves of any responsibility when this coach inevitably does something stupid.
Yeah. So
let's move on to picks.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, let's make some picks this week.
Got one game, right?
One game.
Yeah. Yeah. What's today? Friday. Yeah. Tomorrow's the only games there are, right?
Yeah. It's just Saturday. Yeah. But yeah, it's. I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say.
It's probably for the best.
It's probably for the best. No, I was going to say, like, Ashton, I'm glad that I have you on here because do you kind of sometimes feel like Reese Davis, like just letting people go back and forth and then just kind of like, you know what, I'm not going to say anything?
I don't know. I don't feel like that very often because I'm usually the one in the back and forth. I did feel that with Kevin and don't tell me, JR. Right? Because that was just fun, and I didn't really have anything to add.
One quick question to Sam and JB. Am I the only one here that doesn't like Jay Williams?
I think Jay Williams is what he is. I mean, he has knowledge. He has knowledge about it. He played in the NBA. He wrecked his motorcycle, changed his name.
Right. So he goes to Duke and then comes back and now he's a
talking head.
Yeah. Well, his job is literally to be impartial, yet he stuck up Duke and Kansas's butt. He won't shut up about Duke, and then every time Kansas plays Kentucky, he's like the biggest Kansas fan in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's like Kansas cannot even be that good. And he's like, oh, they're the greatest team in the country. I'm like, dude, shut up.
My two favorite guys on there are Jimmy Dykes, number one, and then number two. Yeah, number two, Seth Greenberg.
I was about to say, don't say Jay Billis.
No. Greenberg.
I have a question, actually. I hadn't been keeping up with college basketball this year, but I have caught little pieces of games here and there and seen scores like flash across the screen and whatnot. Has Kentucky been a disappointment this year? Because I haven't seen them winning a big game.
I think they've overachieved, really, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, so this
was expected, or maybe better than expected.
From the fan, this is what happens year after year with, getting so many freshmen on the team every year. because we reload freshmen every year. It's the way it works.
Right. Well, the basketball system is broken that way.
Sure, but
it's the NBA's fault though.
We've talked about that.
It's the NBA's fault, and we've already hit on that. But so we won't go down that rabbit trail.
Well, outside of football, pro sports is the enemy of college athletics.
Agreed. But so I will say this: like Kentucky struggles mightily at the beginning of the year because of its lack of veteran talent, and you saw that by I think it was the second game of the year. It got beat by Duke by like 46 points.
Yeah.
And they're not that bad of a team. They were just so young at that point that Duke ran all over them.
So was Duke though.
Yeah, but not that young. Not that young.
Arkansas is younger than Kentucky is this year. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Keep going.
But so to this point in the season, I'd say really the only thing that is really disappointing to me was losing to LSU in Rupp Arena.
Yeah.
Because
the game you should have lost too.
Yeah.
You're up 12 at one point in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we won't go to the basket interference thing. But
yeah. Not reviewable.
Yeah.
For some reason.
That's ridiculous that that's not just for that. I mean, it just should be reviewable. But I mean, we shouldn't have blown that lead anyway.
I think literally everything should be reviewable. I agree with you. I hate bad calls, man.
No, I agree, but I mean, we shouldn't have blown the lead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Sure, but that aside, bad calls ruin games.
Sure.
Right.
I would say egregious calls ruin games.
Yeah, that's true.
Like overly bad calls. There's gonna be bad calls. There's gonna be calls where a guy calls a travel and it wouldn't travel. But basket interference, a pass interference in an NFC or whatever conference they're in, NFC championship game. You know, those are egregious.
Right.
Styles.
And that wouldn't be so bad if it were at least reviewable. Right. Like review the call, get it right. Right. Because your job is there to get it right.
Especially in the critical parts, like the last couple of minutes of the game.
Right. But so my metaphor for go ahead.
I was going to say, basically, to sum up what I was getting at is I don't really think, as a whole, there was a whole lot disappointing to Kentucky season. That bad loss to Duke, and then they lost at home at Rupp, which Rupp, Cal's lost. Since he's been there, they've lost very few at Rupp. It's just not something that happens often. So when they do, it's considered bad at Kentucky. But overall, they've had a pretty good season, and I still think they're one of the best teams in the country. But I'm a little bit biased.
They're top 15 for sure.
Oh,
no doubt.
Yeah. So, and they'll be a number 2 seed more than likely, unless something crazy happens. That's to answer your question. But I am a little bit biased.
That makes sense. I was just wondering because I hadn't seen them winning any big games, that it seems like they should have been in and won or whatever.
Well, and you don't know this because you don't watch. Well, no, I was going to say the way they break it down. We have a lot of quad 1 wins, which to you sounds like foreign language, but it's basically the quality of wins. They part of it has to do with away games and then the RPI of the school and different things, and so there's a lot of factors that go in. It's more factors than they figure in football, but just because more teams, really, but more teams in the tournament kind of thing. So there's a lot more to figure, but so based on that, they've had a pretty good year. But I see your point as far as
I mean, in years past, it's been Kentucky is this unbeatable juggernaut, and this year it just hadn't been that. So I was wondering.
Definitely not that.
Also, LSU notwithstanding, right, because of the impending investigation. Who's been the biggest surprise in basketball this year?
In the SEC or in the country?
This is an SEC podcast, bro.
Okay, I'm just making sure. JB, what do you think?
Well, I'm going back to the very first podcast we said. Biggest surprise negatively is Auburn.
No doubt.
We were talking about Auburn at the beginning of this season, thinking they were going to be like, top five in the country, Final Four team, and they're not good.
Well, I wouldn't say they're not good.
Yeah, they're not good, but they just have not performed to the standard.
They're not good outside of the city of Auburn.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, they're terrible on the road.
They have probably they should have the best backcourt in the SEC. I mean, they've got two 4-year guards back there that have just been dominating ever since they've been in the SEC. But anyway, Auburn has just been a complete disappointment in the SEC. I will say that South Carolina has been the most surprising for the positive side, because didn't we have them as last in the SEC preseason?
See, here's why that doesn't surprise me. Frank Martin plays freaking defense out the wazoo. That's why I like Frank Martin.
Yeah.
His teams always play defense, which is, well, I'm not going to finish that because that'll ruin a pick. But you can probably figure out where I'm going with that one.
All good.
So, but anyway, I don't see that as much of a surprise. I think probably, I don't know. I mean, honestly, negatively more than Auburn, I did not think Vanderbilt would be 0-18.
0 forever.
I'm sorry. I didn't think they would be great, but I did not think they would be winless. They have one more chance, and they're not going to lose to LSU at home. It's not going to happen.
Wait, they haven't won a game this year?
Not in conference.
Not in conference.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And their last game is against LSU.
If they don't win against LSU, it'll be the first time since 1968 somebody went winless in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that's my biggest negative surprise. For me,
LSU making history all over the place this week.
Yeah. For me, I think I don't know. The positive one is tough for me because, I feel like there's several teams that have been up and down. You've had Ole Miss, which they've been hot, then terrible, hot, then terrible, hot, then terrible. Then you've had, Arkansas has got on some runs and then had some slides and run and slides. I guess for me, I'd have to say, and Sam, don't take this the wrong way, I'll explain myself, Alabama. And the reason being is not because they weren't good, but just I didn't realize how good they were at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, who expects Alabama to be able to do anything outside of a football field?
That's not what I mean at all. No.
That's what I mean.
They've got a well-rounded team, and when they play their game, they can beat most of the conference, if not all of them. And that's what probably surprised me the most. Avery Johnson has usually got good teams, but I think they're a little slightly better, well-rounded than I thought.
I will say this about Alabama is it's going to sound kind of nuts. To me, as a basketball coach, okay, they are much more fun to watch this year than they were last year. Last year, it was ball comes down. When it hits Colin Sexton's hands, the ball sticks to him. And he's going to either shoot it or create a shot for somebody. This year, you don't know who's going to shoot it. Now, some of that has to do with Kyra Lewis.
No, I agree. I mean, Colin Sexton was fun, but it was his show. It's not more. That's why I'm saying it's a more well-rounded team, which is what surprised me because of what you came from last year. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. The frustration that I have with Alabama is every single year we're 17-13 and on the bubble. Every single year. At some point, we should be 21-8 and be a 4 or 5 seed at some point. Even Mark Godfrey got us to a 2 seed. Now we got bounced in the first round, but we were a 2 seed. You know what I'm saying? That's just the frustration I have is you don't see any improvement year to year. It feels like every year it's the same team over and over and over.
Welcome to being a Georgia fan.
Yeah. Now, I don't think Avery Johnson is a bad coach, but I just question if has Avery Johnson run his course in Tuscaloosa? Was last year the best we're ever going to be, getting to the round of 32? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, if it's any consolation, the best LSU has ever been, was, I think, top 16 one time.
We went to the Final Four.
They went to the Final Four.
We did?
Yeah, when Big Baby was there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was thinking of the Shaq days when he went to the Sweet 16.
I mean, Shaq probably had the best team. I mean, with Shaq and Chris Jackson, that team was freaking good.
Yeah, okay. That makes fair. I mean, that makes sense. That's fair.
They underperformed.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this later, Ashton. More off air, but let's move on. No. It's
looking forward to it.
It's not really relevant to this specifically, but it's something he'll like.
Yeah.
In previous games.
Fun fact: Big Baby Davis was a big baby. Like that's where his nickname comes from. He was like the biggest baby ever born in the state to that point. He was huge. So
he should have gone to Michigan State then, because every year every player on their team is a big giant baby. That's what Tom Izzo coaches.
This year they got 3 kids hurt.
Anyway, I've usurped you enough, JB. You can take over from here.
Yeah.
Picks.
We were pushing this, but I did make a promise earlier. And I'm going to have to do it. Why Arkansas winning today in the SEC women's basketball tournament is a huge deal. It's for a lot of reasons, but
Sam just walked off.
Did Sam walk off?
He did.
I'm back. Sorry. I had to throw something away.
Oh, I'm sure that's what it was. Okay. So first of all, Arkansas was a 10 seed team in the SEC tournament, and South Carolina was a 2 seed. It's the first time that a 10 seed has reached the SEC semifinal since 1993. Let me just give you a hint as to how long that was ago. Ashton was not born. Right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're right. My older brother was born that year.
I'm not wrong. So Ashton was not born the last time a 10 seed went to the semifinal of the SEC tournament.
But I mean, I'm a youngin', so there is that. I can't drink alcohol, man. Like
the last time Arkansas beat South Carolina in a game at all was in 2012. That was 7 years ago. The last
Ashton still couldn't drink.
You can't drink now.
That was the point.
Oh yeah, I know. The last time that South Carolina lost a game in the SEC tournament, period, was 2014. That was 5 years ago. South Carolina.
Okay, I'm certain I was alive then.
Okay, South Carolina has won every single game in this. They've won 4 straight SEC tournament championships, and they lose to a 10 seed tonight. So that's why it was a huge deal. That's why I was so ecstatic when I posted on the group, because to beat South Carolina as a 10 seed is a freaking huge deal. And I really hope they go all the way in this daggone tournament, because I'm going to be I have to have stuff.
They won't. But
what's up, Sam?
The problem with women's basketball. Okay, people think
just
that
one.
People think that
this could be a whole show, man.
He coaches girls basketball.
I
know you do.
I better back off.
Did they watch the show?
No, they don't watch the show.
What?
No, then we're good.
They need to watch the show. Get your girls.
All right, come on.
The problem with the NCAA women's basketball is, okay, if you think the football is an Alabama monopoly, UConn has had 2 winning streaks over 100 games, 2 of them in the last 10 years.
They got 2 losses this year. I can't believe it.
Twice they have had winning streaks over 100 games.
Holy cow!
On 2 different occasions.
Wow.
How many games do they play in 10 years? My gosh.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm misspeaking. I think one of the winning streaks was 98 games. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And one of them was 115.
Man.
And
in a row.
And when they did those, a lot of their games they'd win by like 30 or 40 points.
Yeah. It's like the Russians in hockey in the 80s in the Olympics, you know. But when they walked out there, you knew they were going to win. It wasn't a matter of if they're going to win, but how bad are they going to win, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how good are they going to look doing it?
Yeah, and that's the problem with women's basketball is nobody cares about it until UConn plays in the Final Four. Who's UConn playing in the Final Four? That's the only time anybody cares about. At least with men, there's some parity. You get Kentucky winning it, you get Duke winning it. So
yeah,
I do watch March Madness, like men's basketball, but I don't care.
JB, we need to do a Tavern bracket challenge of some sort.
I will win.
Yeah, we need to.
The color purple has never failed me.
We need to do an SEC bracket, and then we need to do the. We did the NCAA last year, and I did one for the SEC like games. But like they don't have like a bracket challenge like on ESPN, so we'll have to find one if we can.
Actually, I think they do on ESPN. But anyway, we'll
for the SEC tournament.
Oh no, not for SEC.
NCAA,
NCAA, yeah, we'll do that. We did it last year too, but for the SEC tournament, I'd like to do something. We'll talk about that later. Let's do some picks, okay? Tennessee travels to Auburn to play Auburn, and Auburn is a 1.5 point underdog against the number 5 Tennessee, as they should be, even though it's at home. What do you think, Sam? Since you're like the number 1 Auburn fan in the group,
I think the game will be. I think the game will be very close. Tennessee will win because they play defense and defense travels. Defense and rebounding. That's what I tell our kids all the time.
So does James Harden.
You're not always going. Yeah, for real. You're not always going to shoot the ball well. But defense and rebounding both will travel, and Tennessee does both of those things, and they've got Grant Williams. So.
I'm sorry, that was just funny. Rob, what do you think about this game? Tennessee, Auburn.
I got Tennessee in a close one.
Yeah.
By a field goal. Sorry.
Yeah. Essentially.
Right.
Ashton, what do you think?
I am going to say the Volunteers in a landslide because I don't want to be like y'all.
Okay. It's all good.
Probably, okay.
Even though you picked the same team we did.
It's gonna, yeah, but it's not going to be a close game. They're going to win by 27 and a half.
That's impressive.
I think Auburn is going to shoot the lights out, but they're going to lose. I've got Tennessee by a slim margin. It'll be less than 10, but more than 5.
Clean sweep.
Yeah. So anyway, Georgia goes to South Carolina. South Carolina is a 6-point favorite. What do you got, Sam?
I think Carolina wins and they cover. So I think.
All right. Rob.
Frank Martin.
Snoop Dogg, what you got?
Yeah, that's a low margin. It's going to be more than 6. I'd say about 10 probably because Georgia has consistently lost to Carolina over the last – I think they've lost, what was it, like 4 or 5 – I don't know how many in a row to South Carolina. They can't beat South Carolina because they can't score on South Carolina. They always have low-scoring games against them because their defense is probably the best in the conference.
It's so physical.
They're
so physical.
That's just Frank Martin's team. They always play that way.
Like a boxing match.
Yeah. And so Georgia has length, but I don't – they just don't have the strength to deal with some of South Carolina's players, and I think that's going to overtake them. I think the biggest thing is that, Georgia is the freaking worst at turning the ball over on unforced turnovers. But I think South Carolina is going to force a bunch of them because of their defense. So I'd say Carolina by 10.
All right.
At least.
AC, what you got for us?
Georgia in a close one.
Okay.
So I'm taking Georgia by 2.
Okay.
Lord, I hope so.
Mr. Not So Fast over there. I'm going to take South Carolina in this one. I think I'm a believer in Frank Martin, and it's a home game for them. and I think they're playing for. I think they're trying to get that fourth spot in the SEC tournament, the double bye. So I think with Frank Barton being the fundamental coach that he is, I think he's just going to have them play to not just play conservatively and don't let them take low percentage shots. Yeah, so I think it's going to come down to him just controlling this game. I got South Carolina in this game. Florida.
Yeah, so Auburn and Carolina are tied for fourth, 10-7. The four-way tie ended with Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Florida. They're all 9-8. So if Tennessee beats Auburn and Carolina beats Georgia, then Carolina's got number 4. So
yeah. So anyway, the double bye is good because it ensures that you will play the number 1 later. You get it like I said, you get a double bye, so you're automatically in the quarterfinals. We're moving on to the next game. Florida goes to number 6, Kentucky in Lexington. Kentucky's a 10-point favorite. Who you got, Sam?
I'm going Kentucky because they're Kentucky.
Yeah, that seems to be your answer because they're Kentucky. Yeah. Rob, what you got?
I'm gonna pick the Wildcats in this one. I think that I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't remember what was the spread. I think it was 10.
10.
Yeah.
I don't know that Kentucky will cover that just because Kentucky Florida tends to be a close game, but it's at Rupp, so it could be. That's probably the reason for the spread.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to go with the Cats. I just don't know what the score will be.
Gotcha.
The thing to really hit on is the fact that Reed Travis is down. So that's the biggest thing that is hurting Kentucky right now. They don't have their best foot forward, but
yeah.
It's going to be Kentucky.
Okay. Thanks,
okay.
GoDaddy.
So I think this is a small sample size, but I think that Florida has a very tough time closing games out, and even if they have a lead at the end, they're not going to be able to do it because Florida is Florida.
From one end of a game in overtime.
Right. Well, that did demonstrate to me that they don't have what it takes to hit that shot at the end of overtime to win the game.
Well, whenever Kayvon Allen is playing a good game, Florida is going to win. But the problem is Kayvon Allen tends to only have good games against Arkansas because he's from Arkansas. And I don't know why. He got offered to come to Arkansas. I don't know why he has to play his best against us. But, whatever. Anyway,
Malik Monk.
So did Malik. But Kayvon is not near much of a dirtbag as Malik was.
Oh, I just had to say that because I know it gets under your skin and it's funny.
Yeah,
that's the reason why I said it.
Yeah, Malik. Yeah, I've got several Kentucky players on my NBA fantasy team, and I've gotten flack from Arkansas fans who hates Kentucky. Like, how can you get Kentucky players? Look. I don't mind having a Kentucky player because they're one and done. They're not really Kentucky players. They're just an avenue to get to the NBA. But I will never, ever, 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 ever get Malik Monk on my team. I don't care how good he is. If he becomes the next freaking Giannis or the next LeBron or the next Jordan,
Greek freak,
I will never, ever, 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 ever get Malik on my team because he is a total dirtbag and I cannot do it. But anyway,
just to clarify, it's Giannis, not Giannis.
I know, but I say Giannis. It's Giannis. I know he's the Greek freak. I know how to pronounce it. I know how to pronounce Euro. But I automatically say G for some reason.
Do you know how to pronounce Tyler Hero?
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Texas A&M plays at Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a 12-point favorite. Who you got, Sam?
State. I like Ben Howland, and I think he does a really good job. And that's the guy at Mississippi State. case you're wondering, Ashton. They play defense and they're physical and they play what I call real basketball. Well, no, defense travels. But they they play what I call real basketball. So in the playoffs and what you get in the SEC tournament and what you get in the NCAA tournament, it's not about who can run up and down the floor and create turnover. It's about who can execute in the half court. That's all it's about, and they can do those things.
So similar to the differences between, say, LSU and Alabama historically and Oregon in football.
Yes.
Okay. Cool deal. Who
you got?
State at home, 12-point spread. I think the cover.
Okay.
Mississippi State's going to win because eat it, James.
I think if A&M put Braden Mann on the court, they'd probably win.
They probably would.
They would win
by the dead gum punter.
They would win by a landslide, but since they're not going to do that because they've got to save his leg for the NFL, Mississippi State is going to win this.
And to point out, a kickball is a violation in basketball.
That's true.
I was going to say none of the points would count, but
that's true. But if you've got a great leg like Braden Mann, you can definitely run up the court really good. So, on a fast break.
But he can't use his foot, though.
Basketball.
All you got to do is just throw it to him and he'll dunk it. So,
James,
just put him on the court and get him to kick the other team's best player in the face one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Flagrant 2.
He's out, but so is the other guy.
3.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to make a flagrant 3 for that.
We're going to have to invent a rule for that.
Then both teams are without their best player.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
That makes him a goon. That makes him.
That makes him that to bring out a hockey term in the South. Anyway. So Ole Miss goes to Mizzou, and Ole Miss is a 1.5-point favorite in Columbia. Who do you got, Sam?
I like Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss it could be a Sweet 16 team. If they can get hot in the NCAA tournament. I think they're going to be. I don't know what Joey Brackett has them as, but in my mind they're a 6 or a 7 seed, and if they get a good draw, I think. But they're a Sweet 16 team. So,
Rob, who you got?
Can someone kick Tyree in the shin so I can stop hearing them rave about him being like he's the best player in the country? Just a side note, but I'm gonna go with Ole Miss.
He shoots it a bunch.
He does, and they talk. The guy, whoever's announcing always talks like he's the freaking best, like he's just Michael Jordan or something. I'm like, dude, Tyree. I'm like, okay, let's calm down. He's good, but let's calm down. But I'm going with Ole Miss.
Yeah.
All right.
What you got?
I'm glad you worked through that, man. I've got Missouri because Ole Miss is Ole Miss.
You know what?
He's just not so fast in all of us.
It's okay. No, I'm gonna double not so fast you, and I'm gonna say Missouri's gonna win because I like Jordan Geis. I like a 4-year guard. I think he controls this game. I'm just a fan of the way he plays ball. And it's at home for Ole Miss or for Missouri. Sorry. I think they're going to take this. I think it'll be a close one, but I think Mizzou's going to come out on top and ruin Ole Miss's season, which would make everyone here happy because somebody doesn't like Tyree and Mr. LSU doesn't like Ole Miss.
I don't really have anything personally against the guy. I just get tired of them raving.
You just want somebody to kick him in the shin.
That was a joke.
Like if I didn't,
Tanya Harding didn't have anything against the girl she got the knees knocked out of.
She just wanted to win, man.
Yeah,
it was a joke, man.
No, it's so
tired
good.
of hearing about it, hearing his name.
That's okay, Tanya. It's okay.
Anyway, we're moving on because we are like almost 2 hours into this show.
Dude, it's been a good one.
It's been a good one. Alabama goes to Arkansas at Bud Walton Arena, and Arkansas is actually a 3.5-point favorite at home. Sam, who you got?
I've got Arkansas. I just don't believe in Alabama. Just to be honest with you, I just don't believe in the style they play, and they're not number one. They're not a good road team, and there's a lot of pressure on Alabama. I think they will not play well under the pressure. So I've got Arkansas. I'm not sure if it'll be close.
You know what I heard there? I heard a man who is as deflated as a Tom Brady football.
I'm not deflated.
Whoa.
I'm not deflated. I'm just looking at it from a coach's perspective.
I mean, that's severe.
Sorry.
Do you need some help, Sam?
No, I'm good.
I'm sorry. Okay, Rob, who you got?
Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes.
I think that is going to be definitely a close game. I was back and forth on that one. I was looking at the games last night. I think the flip for me as far as just almost a coin flip. Mainly Arkansas's got it at home. And the fact that I feel like Alabama at this point I feel like they're kind of dejected. They're kind of like.
Don't know what would give you that impression.
When their fans are checked out too.
The sense that, I mean, they were competing towards the upper level of the conference, and they've kind of hit a slump. And I feel like Arkansas is going to take advantage of that. So.
And we've hit a stride. Ashton, who you got?
Right.
All right. Usually I'm terrible at picks. Daddy brought home a paper one day. The NFL playoffs, everybody in the office was going to do a bracket. He said, you fill one out, and I'll fill one out exactly opposite you. And he got every pick right. So he filled out a perfect bracket because I filled one out before him. So with that in mind, I loathe Alabama and wish them to lose. Therefore, I pick Alabama.
Okay. I'll take that. I'm going to go with the home team, man. Arkansas, they've won 2 in a row. I think they're finally starting to play as a group. I don't know what they are like the second or third youngest team in college basketball.
It's amazing how many teams are the youngest team.
Yeah, exactly. They're younger than Kentucky this year. That's a fact. But they're not usually. That's the problem. Cal is used to coaching freshmen. Mike Anderson is not. So the team has been kind of a disaster this year. They've been up and down, up and down. They've been streaky. Like they've been the streakiest team in the SEC. They lost 4 straight, and then they won 4 straight, and then they lost 6 straight, and now they've lost 2 straight. They haven't done a 1-1 in either category this year. That's a fact. Like Sam, we lost Sam. We'll get him back.
I think I depressed him with my comments about Alabama.
That's true. He'll be back. So anyway, I've got Arkansas in this, and I think it probably be closer than I really want it to be, but I've got Arkansas in this at home against Alabama, who apparently is deflated because their own fans are deflated. And there's Sam. We got him back. Thank God he's here.
MacBook died. Sorry.
It's all good. So anyway, next game, we got Vandy travels to number 10 LSU in Baton Rouge at 7:30 at night. Death Valley, kind of. Basketball is not really Death Valley. But anyway,
what's their basketball stadium called?
Pete Maravich Arena Center.
Yeah.
There's not a nickname?
The Pete.
There might be. I don't know, but it's the Pete Maravich Arena or Center or whatever.
It should be the Pistol.
I think they call it the Pete. I think that's what they call it.
I shall call it. Heretofore, it is known as the Pistol.
It might be the Pistol. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's just call it the Pistol. Sam, they're playing at the Pistol. Who you got?
Well, LSU is playing for a conference title, their first one in a long time. Even though their coach won't be there, The kids don't care. they will win. LSU will win.
Yeah. Rob?
I mean, do you even have to ask?
Yeah, I know. It's Vandy.
Vanderbilt, like, I've always respected their basketball program, except this year. They're just so bad. I don't even know what I hardly even watched them, but except when they played against, Georgia and Kentucky, I haven't really paid attention to them. But I don't know, it's bad, and I mean I just don't think they have anything else to play for unless you just want to win, just simply to be
a game.
Well, to not have that on your record sheet, since what year was it the last time they?
68.
Yeah, 68. Okay. So there you go.
51 years.
It's insane.
Ashton, who you got? I know who you're picking.
None of us were born then.
Well, actually, I've got some interesting thoughts. I don't know basketball, but I do know people, and I know how people think. That LSU is riding an emotional high, right, after beating Florida and going undefeated and this, that, and the other, right? That's a real big deal. And then not long after,
on the road.
Sure, I don't know what it meant. I saw the word undefeated. I don't care. Anyway,
on the road, yeah.
It's a big deal. They've beat Tennessee this year. They beat Kentucky this year, and that's huge, right? So this is exactly the kind of game that I could see them overlooking with all the news of their coach, and Vanderbilt has nothing to lose. I mean, what are they really playing for? I mean, they don't have any pressure. There's nothing on the line for them, and there's everything on the line for LSU, right? There's a conference championship on the line, and it's the first one that they've played for in forever. So I would not be surprised to see Vanderbilt win this one. I'll go ahead and pick LSU, but I'm not confident in that one.
Fair enough. Fair point. I would like to remind everyone that LSU has lost 2 games this year.
That's fair.
Both of them in the SEC. Both of them were at home. So yeah, they're undefeated away
They've
from
lost 5 total.
They've lost 5 total, but yeah, as far as SEC games, they have not lost a game away from LSU. They've lost 2 at LSU. One was against Florida, and one was against the Arkansas Razorbacks. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I've got LSU in this one, and I don't think it's going to be close. We just beat the living pants off of Vandy, and LSU is I'm just going to throw it. LSU is a better all-around athletic, more talented team than Arkansas is. How we beat them in Baton Rouge, I don't know, but we did. That's a quadrant 1 win for us, and I'm happy to have it. But yeah, they're going to beat the crap out of Vandy because Vandy's not good. Vandy was up on us by 10 early in the game the other day. We ended up winning by almost 40. So Vandy may come out strong and put something on LSU, but I think LSU is just going to out athlete Vanderbilt. So anyway, it's been an expletive good episode with you guys today. I had to throw that out there for my man Will Wade. It has.
Your man.
My man. Ashton's man. I don't like the guy.
That's Drew Brees.
I don't like the way the guy stands with his hands up in his armpits. He looks weird.
Hey, you got to admit, it's tough to dislike Drew Brees, even if you don't think he's the guy.
I really like Drew Brees.
Hey, JB,
I love Drew Brees.
I didn't say I didn't like him. Hey, JB.
He's a better person than Tom Brady is.
See, I find it really difficult to dislike Brady.
Yeah.
I agree.
Just like either one of them. But no, you're talking about how Will Wade holds his arms up.
Yeah.
What about old Bruce Pearl and that pit sweat?
Sweat stain.
Dude is sweaty all the time, man. It's crazy. Ugh, it's gross, man.
He is intense though.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. That's the thing I notice about these coaches, man. Like the weird things they do, like with Will Wade, where he like holds his arms up here, like he doesn't hold his arms at his like waist like most people. He's like way up here in his armpits, and it looks painful. And Bruce Pearl, the way
That's
he
the only thing
sweats,
he's trying to support something.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's possible. You know, he could be having the change going on. You never know. In this gender fluid society that we live in.
That's sexist.
Sorry. Whatever.
Y'all, this is derailed a lot today.
Derailed.
We need a script.
No, man, it's been fun. Basketball does not have a script.
No, when we first started like doing these basketball casts, we had scripts, but the last 2 or 3 times, it's just been off the cuff.
I mean, this is just we had an NFL debate, y'all.
See, basketball
like,
is more
two casts ago.
That's
I had
fair.
a whole layout. I had a whole layout for it, and then ever since that one, we just gone off the cuff.
Well, basketball in its nature is more fluid than football. There's no stoppage in between plays. It's just
true.
It flows together, and that's the way our show is.
That's fair. That's fair. Got to give it to you.
Yeah. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm glad we had Ashton on here to make it interesting.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
Okay. There you went. Okay.
Oh yeah, mine was over the line.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're in good company here. But yeah, I enjoyed having the best SEC team fan on here to represent them, because you haven't represented them all season so far. But yeah, it's been a good year for the SEC. I think I don't know if we're going to get we discussed getting 8 or 9 teams. I don't know if that's going to happen.
7.
You think it'll be 7? You think it'll be 7 now?
Yeah, Bama's not going to get in.
Yeah. Well, they're going to lose to Arkansas, so
exactly
that'll put them out. So
with any luck,
yeah.
NIT bound.
NIT bound. Well, Arkansas's got a lot of work to do. They've got to win like probably 3 games in the SEC tournament to make it. So they got to beat Bama, and then they've got to go deep into the SEC, like to the semifinals, like at a minimum, which they've done before several times. But yeah, I don't know. I have no really. I don't have. Huh?
That quad 1 win tomorrow.
That's right.
Like, yeah. Is it a quad 1 win against Alabama tomorrow?
Yeah. It'd be a quad 1 win, I would think.
Well, it's at Arkansas, so I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, it's hard to judge these things.
I never know for sure.
I think Bama's RPI is like 35 or 36 though. So
that's true. I think anybody top 50 is a quad 1.
It's top 50 anywhere. I think top 75 on the road maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look it up again. Yeah.
All I know is we beat Indiana, who beat Michigan State. Did they not? Or Michigan? They beat somebody really good.
They beat State, but State's got 3 starters that are out.
That's true. Yeah. Anyway, so that's another big win for us against Indiana. So we've got some work to do, but I'd like to see them do something at the end of the year to make me happy.
Yep.
And to keep Mike Anderson his job, because I really like the guy, and I
too.
If Arkansas, I've said this before, if Arkansas finally goes back to the Sweet 16, which they used to live there for a while in the 90s, but if they finally make it back, I want it to be with Mike Anderson. I don't want it to be with somebody else. I don't want like Jimmy Dykes, man. Like Jimmy Dykes coached Arkansas for 3 years, and then he got fired, and now they've got another guy that came in, which is a great coach. Mike Nevers is a great coach. And he's taking them to the semifinals in the SEC tournament, and Jimmy Dykes couldn't do anything with these girls. But like, I feel bad for Jimmy. I really wanted him to do it. I like Sam. Jimmy's my favorite sportscaster in the SEC, and my second favorite is Pat Bradley. Yes, they both went to Arkansas, and I don't care. I'm a homer.
Yes, you are.
I'm very much a homer. I like Pat Bradley, man, the shooter. I like him because he's from Massachusetts, and it's just fun to hear him talk.
No.
And I love the way he talked about Jalen Byford last year and the year before. But anyway, it's been real. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Ashton, thanks for joining us. Rob, always a pleasure. Sam, glad to have you. Just remember, brothers, let your light shine before men so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. And we'll see you in the tavern.